Starting to the top left, we currently have the Terran player in red starting for Team Acer. It is
Acer MMA.
There he is. Bright green new shirt. A lot of green going on right now. It's not even March yet. His opponent to the bottom right. Top-notch Zerg. He's a star. He's also
Pure.
ByuL here with his GSL shirt.
yeah, indicating he is in fact teamless for certain.
And this is a big map, and the good thing for ByuL is we have cross position. He is gonna love this. As a Zerg on Entombed Valley, you always want to start at cross position. That makes it very hard for the Terran player to use drop play effectively against you. So this looks pretty cool for ByuL, and of course MMA won't be too happy about the spawning positions as soon as he identifies them.
Yeah, he's going Command Center first again on this map.
I mean, I don't blame him. Entombed Valley is a big map, so why not go for the CC first?
Yeah.
The bigger question is, what exactly is he doing after this? I love the position, though.
He really likes to go for the CC first on the high ground as well, which I think is something that's becoming more and more normal
these
days.
I love it, because even if the Zerg player starts with an early pool, you can't do too much about it, because the Terran is just gonna wall off, so you find yourself in a position where you can't do damage. The Terran player still has this orbital command, and you don't lose that much time. Yeah, you have a bit more economy if you build it down at the bottom, but why risk it, you know?
Yeah.
You don't even have you don't even have to send out the scout. You don't have to. You can, but if you just want to try to have a look what's going on in the early game, you can skip it or just delay it a little bit.
It's true. Scout is coming down now, speaking of which. ByuL being very careful to check for bunkers at the bottom of the ramp. Now, on this map, the third base is fairly easy for the Zerg to take, but he does want to destroy those rocks as soon as possible so that he can connect his base to the creep, make sure no Hellion run-bys is not a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if MMA goes mech on this map. It's a composition we've seen a lot of Terran players use very recently on this map specifically.
Yeah, for me it's more the question what ByuL is going to do. I could certainly see MMA play mech on Entombed Valley. But for ByuL, the question that I want to know is he going to try to go straight into, you know, a Blue Dog composition, or will he try to play a very aggressive mid-game?
Ling's coming across the map for a scout. Very careful about how he checks for things.
MMA this time going straight into the double gas.
You know, if you're MMA here, what do you do? If you're down a game like this, you just got all in, do you stick to the plan for the 3 games you had, like the build orders you made, or do you switch things up?
If I was him, I wouldn't switch things up. I think the worst thing that you can do is panic and suddenly change everything.
Let somebody get in your head, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it works out, but usually you should just stick with your original plan, because that's what you prepared for, that's what you really practiced for. So I feel adapting is fine. So if you see an opening that you didn't expect, changing a strategy is okay. But if you just talk about the series in general and changing your entire plan for a map, I feel you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I actually agree. Glad we have the same feeling about this. Because some people just really are better at adapting to new situations and changing their ideas, but I feel in general it's better to stick with the plan.
And it's a little bit different if we talk about a GSL game or if we talk about a tournament game, or a tournament that only lasts for a weekend, because there you have to be very flexible with what you do, because you play so many games against so many different opponents, maps and races. But in this scenario, we have the players preparing specifically for an opponent and for a map, so you always should try to stick with the initial idea and then try to try to play a little bit more flexible if you see something changes, but the beginning should always be what you originally had planned.
This Ling is seeing everything right now, by the way.
Again.
Which is terrible for MMA. And in fact, he's going to see exactly the add-ons here.
Did he see the expansion? Could you double check? I feel like Action showed it, but I kind of missed it on our second.
Oh, the Overlord can see it anyways.
Ah, okay, there's an Overlord to the top right. Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so he knows about it.
You know, this build that MMA is doing right now is one where it's very flexible, and we talked about flexibility earlier. I like this build where you get the CC before you get your E-Bays, and you get Stim out. Then you have this force where you can check around the map with your Hellions, you get Stim out, and then you go for the E-Bays later on just to be safe. Right now, ByuL is going to take a lead in upgrades if he starts his 1-1 right now, but ByuL, with those upgrades, I mean, as a Zerg player, getting ahead in upgrades feels good against a Terran. but it's not something that's going to necessarily make you win a fight. It's going to make your units better, but it's not like you're going to go, okay, I've got 1-1, so I'm going to hit this timing and attack the Terran or try to punish the Terran for having that third base.
Yeah. We have a lot of gas now, and what you just said is completely right. I completely agree with this. Look at this. We have immediately the reaction for ByuL as soon as he identifies the threat with the Hellions with the first Spine Crawler. And now +1/+1, speed is nearly done, heading into lair. He's really, I don't want to say he's playing it greedy, but he doesn't have a lot of defense set up.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah. With all the queens that he has, he can repel those Hellions, at least for now. MMA decided to get only 4 of them, not 6. He's not going to overcommit with those.
This lane run by was a nice idea, but he was completely shut down. He thought MMA was going to be following this up with a more direct attack. Yeah, the E-base a little bit late here. I mean, as far as late they are now, what will happen more importantly than 1-1 is really going to be 2-2. If MMA doesn't have 1-1 completed and ByuL is already almost done with 2-2, that can be a situation where it's really hard to recover and start to take fights, because the more units you have, the more the upgrade is applied.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, actually, this run-by with the Zerglings would have been successful if he would have attacked like 5 seconds later. The Marines were just about to leave the main entrance, and yeah, if they would have been out of position, then ByuL would have found an opening into the main base, could have done some damage to the SCVs. We have this Viking for MMA that I really love, because now he's trying to hunt down a few Overlords. And we have ByuL going straight into Spire attack. This is going to be so interesting, Wolf. He really goes for this very aggressive mid-game that we talked about at the beginning of the match.
Scan goes down here ripping up some of these tumors.
As long as he has a few Banelings, he's going to be fine here. Yeah, this is a scary force, and the Mutalisks themselves won't be able to do too much against them, or not too helpful. But yeah, he has Banelings, and that's all that he needs.
The Mutalisks really help once once he keeps trying to attack your spines. I mean, rather your tumors. When you go to clean up with Speedlings, he just lifts. You get really annoyed. So the Spire is there to help that. He needs to lift this orbital. He wants to save it, but he can also just lift it. He can't save it.
I'm interested to see how many Mutalisk ByuL is going to build. If he really commits heavily to this Mutalisk Link Baneling composition, or if we just see him building like 8 of them, 9 of them, and then trying to head into Broodlords later on with an Infestation Pit. If he really heavily commits, I feel that MMA needs to build Thor as soon as possible, because defending 3 bases against a good Mutalisk player is really difficult.
Yeah, it's true. That Mutalisk Baneling attack that you can oftentimes see at the third base can be pretty devastating. I don't think we're going to see that attack because the timing is a little bit off for that, but 8 Mutalisks started at first, and that's all the resources he has, so in a few seconds he may actually go for more.
I really pity this Viking. He's probably the first one who's going to meet the Muta Force.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. By the way, a 4th being taken, and he even looks like he's considering taking a 5th, double expanding maybe to the bottom left.
The thing is, he can't do it because the Mutalisks will definitely make sure that MMA can't move out. That's the big problem that you have when you're first up against Mutalisk. You have to set up your defense, you need missile turrets, you need a few Thors. So just moving out and taking down Zerg spaces is going to be so much more difficult, especially since you can't use your medivacs and to drop. So now we have MMA with a lot of Mutalisks. He's going for the +1 attack upgrade. Will he build more of them though? Does he go for a very, very Mutalisk heavy style? He's just looking for the Viking, isn't he?
Yeah. He spots these Lings over here. Now how will he react? He needs to send some units over there to defend. Meanwhile, his force in the middle of the map is actually walking home. MMA totally out of position here. The Banelings are actually going towards the third base instead, though this gives MMA a lot more time. Baneling speed is not done. Yeah, he's got his tank there in time. ByuL has to get back.
And he saw that there's a force heading towards his 4th base, which is exactly why he heads home. He wants to hit this hard. And
he's doing it.
He's on creep, he has a speed advantage, and he can trap those units. He can go for a ByuL sandwich. Not quite happening.
Quite.
Still thinking about it though. Nice scan. MMA with the perfect scan.
He's trying to figure out how he can maybe bait these Mutas in and fight them. But it looks like ByuL wants to go now. Ling's coming in. He actually gets the siege tanks from behind. This is intense because now the Mutas can close the gap, and even slow Banelings are pretty useful here.
Everything is going to die, especially those few medivacs, of course, hurt a lot. Losing them is really something that he doesn't really want to happen, but it's already a little bit delayed. The rest of the army is moving in. But this is easy prey now for ByuL if he gets another flank.
Yeah. He wants to continue to spread that creep, but he's got so many lings on the map right now that he could get that flank. He's got 78 Zerglings right now. There's very few siege tanks since the initial ones died. 3 on the map and only 2 in the army.
Double expanding now, attacking to Hive.
Oh, he's going
the
for
Zerglings. He's going for it.
Sieged. Well, those Baneling hits were not very cost efficient, but he still killed the siege tanks, which is good for him.
And he takes down the Medivacs, all these gas-intensive units. This is bad for MMA. He loses too much gas here.
Yep, he may have to pull back here, taking a lot of losses on that attack. And he's looking for this group of Medivacs, but unfortunately for him, they've already been unloaded, so he's going to be able to trade relatively well if he targets the mutas. And he's not quite allowed to, so he doesn't really trade well here.
Yeah, ByuL plays a really good game so far. He
Marine
dominates MMA, and we have 7,000 resources lost for the Acer Terran player. ByuL lost 5,000 so far, and he completes his Hive tech already. So this is definitely getting a little bit scary for MMA. He's still looking at decent. He has a good supply, he has a 4th base, but ByuL setting the pace of the game.
Yeah, look at this. 3-3 is now started for ByuL, whereas MMA's 2-2 isn't even done yet. His +2 weapons is going to be done really soon, so he's going to be even there. But as far as armor goes, he's going to be way behind. But it looks like ByuL wants to do a big Baneling attack on that 4th base, but at the same time, he is going to have to send some lings over to defend his own 5th.
He didn't start Adrenal Glands, just as a side note.
Yeah.
One of these upgrades that a lot of Zerg players forget.
Yeah, you're so right. Look at the positioning of MMA actually allows all of these Marines to remain alive, so now he has to fight with mutas.
Yeah, the Mutalists don't have a problem. There are not enough Marines left to really threaten them.
Oh, this Queen could get targeted. Oh!
That's close, 2 hit points.
Yeah. It may have even been 1 before it got its first hit point back. That's insane. Lucky Queen.
Yeah.
Now, MMA is still pretty even in supply with ByuL, but double Spire, Greater Spire plus the new original Spire, so you can continue to get those air upgrades is really important. Plus, pathogen glands coming out for those infestors, so he can start infestors as well.
I also like that he sets up the first spine crawlers and spore crawlers to defend those bases. But it's a little bit inexcusable that he's not going for the adrenaline lance up. Ah, there it is.
He actually started that as well as Chitin is planning. He's got everything on the way.
I was just about to say that he really needs to get it with 111 Zerglings. There's just no excuse of not getting this upgrade.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I feel like he forgot about it, but now he's researching it. He definitely has the resources to do so. He has a 2,000 mineral bank and a 1,700 gas. More and more spine crawlers. I love that he's committing minerals to those.
Yeah, 7 more Banelings coming in here. He's adding a few Ultras in before getting those Hive Tech Greater Spire units. The creep is also spread pretty far across the map, so MMA has to be very careful. He's going to lose this drop. This is just one thing that creep spread can grant you vision of medevacs like this.
And we have another fight now, but he needs to be very careful. Those siege tanks are not sieged up, but he does not have his entire army at the top.
You're absolutely right, and MMA is starting to rip through that creep again. Scanning, getting a lot of tumors here.
Look at those double upgrades that he talked about earlier. Now that the Greater Spire is done and the second one finished, he's starting them immediately. Armor and attack. This is going to help him so much, not only with those remaining Mutalists, but also, of course, with the Brood Lords that he wants to transition.
Oh, he's going to target the Planetary with his Banelings. He's going to get some good hits on the SCVs as well, and boom, not only great SCV kills, but the Planetary as well.
And bye-bye 4th base. MMA suddenly on 3 bases again, double expanding immediately.
ByuL is on 5 bases. Plus, he's got all these upgrades coming out. We talked about the Adrenal Glands. They just finished. 3-3 is done. Chitin is playing for the Ultras. He's getting double air upgrades, +2 for his Broodlords and the Carapace upgrade.
Even though MMA is on 200 supply and maxed out, has also decent upgrades, I would feel really uncomfortable if I was him.
Yeah, because eventually he's going to run out of that bank with no base over here.
He needs this 4th, yeah, you're so right. He's even trying to take a 5th base in the middle of the map to the left side. So far, he has not been spotted. ByuL doesn't have a unit over there.
Oh, wow, there's a big bait onto these Baneling landmines.
He does decide to not use them.
Yeah, a lot of players don't like the idea of uncoring them and having them roll. They just want to detonate. And I feel if he rolled, he would have been okay there. Oh, he wants to bait him in. Oh my god.
Oh, that hurt.
A great hit there.
That was an awesome hit. That was really well done.
I've never seen such a cost-efficient Zerg units lost tab. He's bleeding by nearly 3,000 resources in unit efficiency.
Usually, it's exactly the other way around.
Yeah.
2 extra starports for the Viking production, 3 orbital commands.
Look at the bank for ByuL. He has almost 5,000 minerals. He's got 2,500 gas. And this is, with him, I mean, being a Zerg player against the Terran, he's just been able to have such a great economy and also not lose units. He's going to lose a little bit over here, though.
MMA, on the other hand, you know he never stops. He just goes for it. He goes for additional jobs. He's never just sitting there really being timid and being like, oh my god, what am I going to do now? He's always trying to drop. He's always trying to get into a position. His defense is now set up. He's showing his macro here. So even though he doesn't have the mineral bank, ByuL is definitely he has not won this game yet. He needs to be careful. And he didn't scout the space to the left side in the middle.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, MMA still has a bank right now. This Baneling trap could also be devastating. We'll see if a bunch of Marines walk over it. I don't think he's going to use it on the Marauders. That just wouldn't be efficient.
Yeah, on the Marauders, that wouldn't make too much sense. Unless he wants to fight with the Zerglings that he has running. Oh, he's trying to flank. He's trying to hit this 4th again, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's going to work. When you have this much resources to dump on the Banelings like this, it's very easy to just roll in, throw away your Banelings to a base, and then repeat the process. And if he doesn't put a planetary there, then you can just kill his orbital or at least force it to live very easily with a bunch of lings.
8 additional spine crawlers. He really wants to save his bases. And here come the Banelings by planetary. And the thing is, he can trade.
Yep.
He's even borrowing a few Banelings there, forcing another scan. Smart. Infestors now. He didn't have too many Infestors in this game so far, does he? Only 2 of them.
Yeah, he just added a few. It's going to become important later on when we have these air battles, though. And even though he added the additional starport, he's only made medevacs because he hasn't really dealt with Broodlords just yet.
Wow, Wolfie has 90 lava. 90.
That's insane. Here we go. The Broodlords are going to show themselves. A few fungals would be nice here. He just doesn't really have infestors, like you said.
MMA should start to think about nukes, to be honest, with all the minerals and the gas that he has. He can afford them, and nukes are always great on a big map like this to zone the Zerg player out a little bit, to put him under pressure. Maru showed it several times on this map in particular.
Yeah. A great fungal hits home on all these Marauders. Look at this play now. MMA dropping down a little bit. The tanks are unseized. The Baneling hits here are very cost inefficient, but this allows ByuL to remax with Lings and Corruptors right now.
Ultralisk on the ground and Broodlords in the sky. In addition, the very mobile Mutalisk that he still has. This is a deadly composition for ByuL and MMA. He's down to 130 supply already.
Yeah. Ultralisk barely escaping death there. He may get transfused by a queen, as so many queens actually joining the battle.
Ultralisk screaming, medic! And the Zerg queen answer, we don't have medics, but I can give you a transfuse.
I can give you a transfuse. The icon at least is one of these healing symbols.
I mean a cross.
Yeah, that. One of these healing symbols. One of these plus signs of health. It means a plus health, right? When you that's
yeah,
what the icons for, right?
Exactly. It's a plus and minus.
I was like, what's the word for this? Is there like a medical term? It's like, no, it's just a cross.
All right, there we go. 130 for MMA. The Corrupt is taking down. Actually, they leave the orbital command floating for now. He doesn't really have to kill it. Those upgrades are getting insane for ByuL with a +3 attack and +2 armor for the air units coming up. And now, what are those Vikings going to do? There are in total 10 of them, but
no
we have
upgrades.
15 Corruptors, and the Corruptors are heavily upgraded.
Yeah, Vikings are 0-0. This game is looking like MMA just may die here because he can't even land his orbitals. Exactly.
He had 7 minerals a few seconds ago. Now it's 60.
He only has that one base, that planetary on the high ground. He's only mining from it with mules right now.
That's the only thing that ByuL hasn't scouted. And if this is really your lifeline, is that really make you happy? No, it's not. That's not going to save you the game. And MMA, just look how much he's going to lose here.
Great bungle on those Vikings, and these units are way too heavily upgraded. You can't kill them with anything he's got.
GG! ByuL makes it look easy, advances to the second round of Code A. An easy winner for the Zerg player, and MMA struggling.
Yeah, MMA is out of the GSL.
Yeah, he has to re-qualify. He wants to play in the GSL next season.
He has been out before, and he may come back. But no matter what, it's always a lot of stress when you're moving around teams. The same can be said of ByuL right now, who's currently teamless. You are switching around, you're moving around teams. It gets a little bit awkward, it gets stressful. Where's your practice environment? I actually have heard a lot of people are giving me updates of information that he is in fact staying at home right now. You're practicing at home with your family. it's not the best practice environment. You want to be in a team house if you can.
Yeah, that's of course the ideal situation. If you're in a team house, it makes practice so much better. And I did not expect MMA to go down with an 0-2. I thought the series would be a very close one, and I could definitely see ByuL winning because he has presented very good results and performances in the GSTL and also in the individual league. But MMA not winning a single map, and let's be honest about it, those two games looked pretty dominant.
Yeah, they were pretty dominant, and ByuL actually looked really good.
Yeah,
he just was so ahead in all those games. He was able to buy every upgrade that there's available.
And now we have another Terran versus Protoss coming up, and it's going to be a sick match.
Yeah.
We have the third place player of WCS Global Finals. We have Rain up against the Dream.
This guy is an OSL champion. He is arguably, well, it's basically not even arguable at this point, the best Kessel player to have switched so far.
He was in Code S. He went really, really far in the grid, and then he decided in the new season to go to MLG. Missed his match at the GSL Code S, which was very unfortunate, and then he dropped out. Re-qualified, and now, well, we have him in the first round. He has to win against Dream. I could not really make sense of that decision, to be honest with you. To me, that was very weird. But
we can talk about it a little bit later, actually, because I'd love
I think
to give my thoughts on it as well. Either way, we're going to have a 5-minute break, so we'll see you guys then.